Hey guys, Kevin here. In this video, I'm going to introduce and explain my course on Irish instrumental playing. Now, this course is fairly straightforward. I'm not actually going to be teaching you how to play your instrument. Rather, I'm just going to be offering some tips and tricks of the trade that are applicable to any instrument playing in the Irish style. Now, my primary goal by offering you these tips is to encourage you to discover and realize your own personal style within the Irish tradition. Now, what is that style going to consist of? Well, here's what we're going to cover. First and most fundamental is rhythm. You have to get your eighth notes or whatever subdivision you're working with absolutely locked in to that grid. They have to be rock solid, perfectly even across the board. Once you have that underlying rhythm down, then you can start to decide how much swing or lilt are you going to put onto that grid. So for instance, how much of an accent are you going to put on one note versus another, maybe in a group of two or out of a group of three. And that's going to give you a whole range of different sounds, of different styles. That leads me to the second category, which is going to be articulation. Legato and staccato. And these articulations are going to be executed differently on different instruments, of course, but to the listener, the overall effect is going to be comparable across the different instruments. And so deciding how much of which articulation to put onto the different notes of your tune is another element of your style. And that brings me to category number 3, ornamentation, everyone's favorite. Ornamentation is really what makes the tunes idiomatically Irish. And it can be really fun, but also quite challenging. So I'm going to talk mostly about where to put the ornaments and why. I'm going to leave the how mostly up to you, although I will touch on the how a little bit with some more general strategies. The individual execution on the different instruments will be more up to you. That leads me to the fourth category, which is variations. Some of you might have taken my class on variations already. If so, you know that there is a wealth of information there. And the cool thing about variations is you don't have to be some sort of prodigy or musical genius to come up with these. There is a method to the madness. You can actually study this technique, practice it, and actually build a small vocabulary of snippets and little phrases that you can substitute in for pre-existing phrases. And so that's really a skill that you can actually build. Now, the next category, I believe we are up to category number 5, is how to build a tune set. So we're going to look at the different emotions that are evoked when one key changes to another, based on the harmonic relationship between those two keys, their key signature and also the tonal center. We're also going to look at the way that different melodies interact with each other and what kind of emotions that evokes. And so the overall goal is to be able to create a set that tells a story, that has kind of a contour to it, and that engages the listener from beginning to end. The next category, number 6, is going to be ear training. And this is going to be very, very important. There is an entirely separate course on ear training that you should also check out. So the goal here is to be able to hear skips and steps, then be able to hear small 4 to 6 note diatonic melodies, and then larger phrases of 2 or 4 bars. And then eventually we want to be able to listen to a traditional tune played at a moderate tempo and be able to start playing along by the 3rd or 4th repetition and be reasonably accurate with the notes. Last but not least, I believe we're up to category number 7 is going to be repertoire. So, of course, you need tunes to actually work with. So every month I'm going to be teaching another tune. We might have time for 2, but I'm going to promise 1. And I've got some really cool and interesting ones picked out for you all. So those will be your vehicles to work on your techniques and also just expand your knowledge of the tradition. That's all I have for you in tune playing. So happy fiddling, whistling, fluting, or whatever instrument, piping, guitaring. Happy tuning, and I hope to see some of you soon.